Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we're going to have a discussion about when do you know that it's time to go full-time as a blacksmith. First things first, to answer that question that we get all the time in our comment section, our YouTube comment sections, especially around our Business of Blacksmithing playlist series. If you haven't seen that, Jessica and I have put a ton of time and effort into creating whole series around the subject of blacksmithing in the business, and it's completely free to you. All you got to do is click down in the description down below the link to that playlist down there, and that will get you all set up. But to answer that question, first and foremost, we need to take an answer to some of the assumptions around what it's like to be a full-time blacksmith, and then you can answer these questions for yourself, or you can see how you're viewing it and decide for yourself whether you think it's right for you or not to go full-time as a blacksmith. So the very first thing that comes up, and it's an assumption, is that when you're a full-time blacksmith, is that you will be able to forge every single day. That's what you'll be doing for the rest of your life, happy as a pig in the mud. And that's simply not true. It's definitely more of a misconception about blacksmithing, is that you will be doing nothing but forging, which is the fun part, right? The fun part is seeing that glowing hot steel move under the might of your hammer. No matter whether you're using a power hammer, a press, or whatever, you're just happy to be beating and squishing some steel around, right? But that really takes up about maybe 20%, or about 20% in my business is forging. Really, if I'm honest, it's about 20% of the actual workload. The rest of the time is, let's say there's probably another 40%, 40-ish percent that goes into finish work, nothing but finish work. So that makes up 60% of the business. And then the other 40% is all R&D time and customer development time and quotes and things like that. So it's not possible for you to spend every single day as the owner of the business working in the business. You have to work on the business as well. So yeah, it's a misconception. You're not going to be able to forge every day. Sure, you're going to be able to cut some time in and forge things that, you'll be able to spend some time forging on stuff every single day if you want to, but there will be a good portion of your business that's just set up, especially if you're lone wolfing it, doing nothing but writing up sales quotes for people and drawing out jobs and going and meeting with clients and measuring up stuff. So that will be a good portion of your business. And not only that, if you do craft show markets and you don't get into the architectural work, you're gonna have a ton of time traveling back and forth to events and venues and shows and preparing stock and stuff just to get to those things. So that's going to be that's the first kind of misconception there, and that's something that you need to analyze a little bit about, your intention. If you're trying to get into it full time as a profession just because you love the hobby so much that you like to just forge red hot steel and watch it mash around, you need to reassess things a little bit. So they'll bring me into the second thing, the second assumption about running a full-time blacksmith shop. I will get to forge everything I want. Not true. You don't. You forge what the client needs, and oftentimes to a tight timeline and to spec. That is very huge in any blacksmithing enterprise or successful blacksmith business and shop that you see running out there. They are working to their client specifications and to timelines usually. And so just like how you have deadlines at work and you have a boss standing on your neck trying to get you to get it done, you're going to have to be your own boss and stand on your own neck to get it done, so to speak. So you're not going to really escape that. As far as pressure or stress, it's a lot less stressful if you're nice to yourself. If you're nice to yourself, it's a lot less stressful than maybe a day job would be otherwise. But it's still some stress there. You are working to a timeline. And you don't just get to go out in the shop every day and forge whatever it comes to mind and tickles your fancy. Usually guys who get to do that, they're either independently wealthy, that means their wife or significant other has generally, they are the breadwinner in the family, and you can just putz around the shop all day long. But that's not running a full-time forging enterprise. It's not. That's more of, you've got a hobby that supports itself at that point. That brings into the third thing that I'll talk about, and this is probably the biggest one, and this is something to really stew upon. No one can answer the question of whether you should go full-time or not at forging. I can't tell you, John Switzer can't tell you, Tabor Dahlman can't tell you, your favorite YouTube creators can't tell you, your people at your guilds can't tell you. No one can tell you when that right time for you is. But there are a few things that you can do to assess when that right time is to go into this as a profession. Number one, do you love it? Do you love doing it? Is it something that you really enjoy? Because if you're just doing it for money, it's going to sour real quick on you. And without having a boss cracking the whip over you and, you know, the fear of not paying your bills at the end of the month, it'll get so old so quick, and you'll bounce out and go back to doing whatever you did previously, whether it be a trade or career path. Because you have to be a self-starter in this if you're going to run a business. You have got to get up every morning with a sense of pride and accomplishment at the end of the previous day, and just ready to go take off and, you know, tackle that next day's worth of work. Sometimes it's very hard to do that. Even for me, everybody has their down days, or where they'd rather just be at the beach somewhere. But it's on those days you still have to knuckle down and kind of push yourself to get out of bed and go to work and work on that client's job. The other thing is pay. You need to assess where you're at in life. What amount of pay are you making now? And what amount of pay could you live with and reasonably get by with if you were doing it full time? If you can assess that for yourself, of what am I making now? Shouldn't be hard to do. Say you're making $100K a year. Well, then you have to divide that by 12 months. And that's what type of income you need to be bringing in. If you're not bringing that in every month, and let's work in realities here, not hypotheticals. If you're not bringing in what you need every month, divisible, right, by that $100,000 for a 12-month span, if you're not bringing that in on the side with your side hustle, you can't really go full-time at it if that's really the bottom dollar of what you need. But I'll encourage you in this way. Oftentimes our lives, we get comfortable at a certain level, and in pursuit of continuing at that certain status, that certain level, driving that certain expensive car, to that certain expensive house, to, you know, the expensive clothing store that you like to go to. In that pursuit, we lose our happiness. We lose our happiness, and we lose our path and our way along the way. And so for some people, you could actually be here and be just as happy as a pig in sunshine. You really could. Other people, they have to maintain this. This is where they have to stay at. You have got to decide that for yourself. I know on YouTube it's hard to tell what people's incomes are. Of course, people think that, you know, if you have a lot of subscribers, you must make that much money a month in dollars. That's not how it works. I wish I made 75 grand a year, 75 grand a month on YouTube, but that's just not the way it works. Jessica and I, we make a very modest income, and with that modest income, we are very frugal, very, very frugal people. And with that, it works. God's always blessed us. He's always blessed us in our business. When we've had a bill to pay, there's been a job in there to pay it. We haven't always been so great at handling those funds, and that's put us into some real pickles and tight spots, things like that. But in general, there's always been a job there to take care of some sort of shortcoming, and I thank God for that myself in my business. But for you yourself, you've got to understand that sometimes you have to reduce the cost of living in order to do what you love and to do what you dream about. That's not always possible. One thing that comes up a lot and this will probably be my last point that I'll go on about, waffle on about here. Health. Your health, where's it at? Are you to the older end of the spectrum or are the younger end of the spectrum? That's uncomfortable. Everybody always ends up getting mad at me. One way or the other, I either irk off the older people or I irk off the younger people in some way. But it's true. It's something that we can't avoid. We all have a time clock on us. Some people that I've talked to, some smiths I've talked to, could make a really good living at doing blacksmithing, but they already have health issues. And that's pretty good range from middle age up to, you know, way upper in the years, and they need that health coverage. They need health insurance. They need what their employer provides, you know, and matches stuff like that, and they have good health and dental and vision care and things like that. That's completely supported by their business, by their company they work for. And in that case, it's not a great idea to go out and lone wolf it, especially if you're getting on in the years. If you're getting a lot older in the years and you're anticipating a lot more health problems, or if you're young and you're anticipating health problems, it's probably not a smart choice to do that and have to handle all that out of pocket and out of cost. It might be fine for a while, and then you have an episode and then it just crushes you and you got to go back and try to find a job with benefits. Which can be very difficult in these days and times. So those are some food for thought things. When is it a good time to, you know, go full time in blacksmithing? I will try to sum it up here at the end of this video. Just sum it up for you when I think it's a good time. Just like waiting for stars to align, I think it's a great time for you to start a blacksmithing business when you can be happy with a lower income than what you're currently making and you can survive on it. Those two things. If you can be happy at a lower income than what you're currently making, you can survive on it, and you don't have any health issues that would prevent you from getting into this great craft and this great trade, then you can start a business. Simply put, that's about it. Is your work going to be the greatest? I don't know. I don't know where you're at skill-wise. You could be a first-year guy and then turn it into a business, and 20 years from now, you've been doing it for 19 years, right? Or you could be a guy that's been doing it for 40 years and you've always just wanted to do it as a full-time gig, and you've turned down big projects, and now you feel like it's your chance, right, to go in after it full-time. You could be on that end of the spectrum as well. You have to make that choice and that decision for yourself. So I hope I've helped some of you out there. If you're considering it, I would encourage you to get into something that you love, because as my final thought will go, and as it's gone in every single video that I try to teach, you know, business and blacksmithing on, is you can never fail at something you're passionate at. So no matter what, if you're doing something you're passionate about and you're loving it, you really can't fail at it. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching this extremely long-winded video. I thought I was going to be done a little bit sooner than this, but hey, that's how the cookie crumbles. If you like this video and you want to hit that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate that. It helps out the channel in ways that you could never fathom. And if you enjoy, absolutely love this content, and you want to support what Jessica and I do here at Christ-Centered Ironworks, you can consider hitting that join button and become a channel member and get a whole slew of perks and all sorts of discounts on the plasma blanks we sell and tooling and you name it. So stuff over at our website, blacksmithpds.com. So thank you to all my channel members for making this content possible, and thank you to all you subscribers out there. That's it. God bless. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.